Hello, folks. I'm Detroit Miracle. Yes, and indeed. So, right now, I am here to talk about new Star Trek news. Yes, indeed, folks. So, are you ready? Well, it has been many years now since there has been a new Star Trek movie with a theatrical release. We know that there was a remake trilogy that was supposedly supposed to spawn a fourth film, but it didn't happen. So that usually means that they couldn't come up with a good enough story or an effective enough story to keep the fan base interested. But I don't believe that because I'm a comic book reader and comic book collector too. So, and Star Trek comes out in the comics too. There are a lot of comic book episodes of Star Trek in both eras of Kirk and Picard, and they have a million stories that are all right. So they can make a good Star Trek movie. They can make a good any movie because there are plentiful of stories and story ideas. If you ask 2 million people something, then you can come up with 2 million ideas. If you keep asking them something towards something and about something, you keep getting all of those ideas. So if you ask the fan base what type of Star Trek movies should you make, the fan base would automatically tell you what type of film they wanted. And then of course you would go with the majority. And they seem to not do that, or it didn't happen with the fourth Star Trek film, apparently. I don't agree with the slow pacing of the Star Trek films that have debuted on the big screen because there's a lot of reasons. I think they could have did much more with that film series. They could have dazzled and awed the fans incredibly so. Like they could have showed the true might of the Federation by showing their complete and total number of ships, star bases, outposts, armaments, weaponry, star bases, like show all of them, like give everyone a general idea of how big the Federation really is and show how much citizens of the Federation and how many of them exist all over the galaxy. The number would have had to have grown to what, a few hundred trillion during the Captain Kirk and Captain Picard eras. I got a lot of ideas for Star Trek movies too. So I could come up with a lot of Star Trek film related material because I'm also a core fan of Star Trek as well. So I got general ideas for making it immense and huge and, and truly like making the Federation powerful in a way, in a perception, because they are more powerful than they show on film. Yeah, it's like they're not arrogant and conceited and vain and cruel with their power. So they subscribe to the idealistic utopian societies throughout the Federation, that is. And there's nothing wrong with that. But they might subscribe to it, but other alien races don't. And those other alien races, such as the Romulans, the Klingons, the Breen, the Kardashians, don't really subscribe to the Federation's brand of idealism or utopian, because those are mostly warlike societies that are bent on conquest and expansion in all the wrong ways. And they don't offer alien races membership into their empires like the Federation does. The Federation doesn't operate under a commerce system of spending, buying, purchasing, and whatnot, because they are so big and immense and powerful, they can exist without money. But we know the other galactic races do use some form of money or payment. Yeah, but the Federation doesn't subscribe to that anymore. nevertheless, they control so much territory in space and have so much of a lot of things, such as military hardware, ships, shipyards, technical centers, museums in space, whatever else you could come up with. Yeah, as you can see, I'm heavily into Star Trek, and it has been so many years since the last Star Trek movie. And Star Trek is good. You take the family, the kids, the wife, everybody except the dog. And you can see like something from the perspective of society hundreds of years in the future. Like, how are those societies? Are they more advanced? Are they more primitive and savage? Well, the Federation citizens seem to be more advanced, and Earth exists as a one society at the time of the Federation, meaning there's no more borders, dividing lines in countries, continents, and whatnot. But in America, there's still separations of city-states like that, like Denver, Cleveland, Detroit, Miami, Los Angeles, and etc. Oh, and Kansas City, Kansas, Kansas City, Missouri. I used to live that way a long time ago. Yeah. So yeah, I got it. Like, I'm waiting on the Star Trek type of promo footage for the next film if they are trying to promote whatever they came up with. But it took long enough. I got some mad, mean Star Trek stories to tell. Incredible. They've never did a huge space battle in the movies. They would always have a couple of ships or so. But like, bring a big war to the Federation and do a trilogy. Like, do that. Like, show the true complement of arms and armaments that the Federation contains. Like, put thousands of Federation ships in space surrounding something. They do it on a streaming series and whatnot, but they never do a huge war battle or an amassing of a large number of fleet of ships in the Star Trek films. But don't those films have bigger budgets than the TV series and streaming outlets and shows? They do anything, but it's like they scale back on Star Trek on the big screen in ways. But on the streaming series, they seem to they won't go towards a massive war in space, but at least they show more. Like, we'll see 1 million Federation ships, 1 million Romulan ships in space getting ready to fight, and then when they have you expecting a good battle, the Romulans power down and run, like, and leave. Yeah. So that it raises the expectations, and then it brings it right back down to like, dang, I was expecting something better than what I just got. Yeah, but maybe next time. Well, Star Trek hasn't been missing in the streaming stories on streaming networks, nor did it miss on the TV series of Star Trek features, which ran as series. And many of them ran for 6-7 years. Yeah, there's been a lot of Star Trek series on TV and on the streaming services. So they seem to be getting it right. And the fans don't have a lot of problems with that. Yeah. All right, people. Let me know something. All you Trekkies out there like me, like, send me in some comments to let me know what's happening with the next Star Trek film. I'd appreciate it. And please subscribe to me, Detroit Miracle. I appreciate it. Thank you.